I'm Deborah Rolfe from Spirited Living, and I'm here today to talk with you a little bit about how you can make that transition from the expansive, mellow, lovely energy of summer into the more serious, focused, back to work, back to school vibe of the fall, particularly with your most significant relationships, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, anyone that you have been in partnership with over the summer and really are not quite sure how you're going to make that shift into that different energy of the fall. In my blog, I talked about the ways that summer just feeds us in so many ways. Even someone like me who took me a long time to admit it, but summer may not be my most favorite time for the weather because I'm not a hot, humid, which it can get in New York City where I live. I'm not into that kind of weather. However, I do love the wonderful, expansive, playful, mellow at the same time energy of summer. And I'm always a little sad. It's always a little bittersweet when Labor Day hits, and I'm revved. There's kind of a newness and an idea of new possibilities and new opportunities in all parts of my life, work-wise, relationship-wise, all kinds of things once fall hits, once we get past Labor Day. But at the same time, there's also a certain amount of sadness because of those things that we can really just do in the summer, when the weather's warm, when the lights stays with us until 9 o'clock at night. So what I would love to do as a life and career transition coach, as a relationship coach, and as an interfaith minister is to show you how I love to weave these things that I love to do so much together to help you navigate that seasonal transition. And in fact, maybe give you some ideas for how to do that for other transitions throughout the year, and particularly seasonal ones, the mental ones that when we're shifting from one way of being in a season to another. So I approach this transition, although it's a different one than a getting married transition or kids going off to college or leaving a relationship. Those are very specific life transitions. Leaving a job, there's a career transition. But what I've learned in my study of the psychology of transitions, I think is very applicable to these kinds of seasonal transitions as well. And that's that there are three predictable stages that I think we can acknowledge and embrace in order to make, in this case, our transition from summer to fall a little easier to take. And those three stages are, and I'll just say them first and I'll explain a little bit and how you can apply them to this particular transition that we're going through. All of us right now, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. And that's release is the first stage, retreat is the second one, and rebirth is the third. So let's look at that in the context of seasons. Obviously, we need to release summer. There's no doubt about it. The days are getting shorter, the weather's getting cooler, and we have to wear more clothes. And if we hang on desperately to summer in our external environment, we're going to be in trouble. Internally, though, I believe, as I said in the blog, that we can take some of the things like a walk on the beach, translate that into something that's, a walk through the woods when the leaves are starting to change, or instead of going, this is a fun one, instead of skinny dipping in the ocean or in a nice secluded little glen with your sweetie, then that's the perfect time as we head into colder weather for bubble baths with your honey, and for candles and soft music and all the things to make it a different kind of romantic dip, if you will. So the release piece comes with letting go, taking the time to acknowledge what we're sad to be leaving behind, but not focus on that, not get stuck there. And then as we go into the retreat time, that's when we begin to reflect. That's when I suggest that you sit down with your partner and reflect on those, your favorite things, your favorite memories, your favorite activities of the summer, and ways that you might take that with you, take the energy of it with you through the fall. So that's the retreat time. That's the reflection time. Taking a moment just to pause in this seasonal shift, in this pivotal point between summer and fall, and think about all the things that we're looking at. How can you personally, with your partner, make that kind of shift? And then the rebirth phase is, okay, let's put some of these ideas into action, like the bubble bath, like the walk in the woods, and think about how you can embrace what fall has to offer. Now, many of us have the seasonal affect disorder as the days get longer, or just don't like the cold. Look at it though, and we don't have to deal with the really bitter cold in the fall, certainly, but consider the fall to be this lovely transitional entire season to get you ready for what you can love about the winter. The capacity to snuggle up with your sweetie in front of the fire, to be able to put on some yummy, cuddly clothes, whatever it looks like, and acknowledging that those are going to be the darkest days, the longest nights. Officially the winter solstice in December is when we start that. But it's certainly from now, that's the other bittersweetness of this season, is that we're watching the days get shorter and shorter. But think about what are the nighttime things that you can do, and use your rebirth into fall, if you will, to reflect on positive ways that you can still be expansive. And it might be internal expansiveness. We can't bring the external light and warmth of the summer with us through the winter and the fall and the winter. But think of ways that you can carry it with you. Now, so that's how I apply the principles of transitions to these seasonal changes, these seasonal transitions. We're talking about relationships. That's the other piece of the work that I do. And the interfaith minister piece is kind of fun because I think that there are ways, very powerful ways, with transitions that we can make them sacred, literally. That reflection time that you have with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, to just acknowledge and celebrate what's passed from the season before, what were your favorite memories of the summer, and to prepare for ways moving forward through the fall and into the winter. That conversation can happen in sacred space. Maybe it's over a romantic dinner and lighting a candle. Maybe it's writing on the candle, one of those big fat candles, what the two of you really would love to create in the season that's coming. So think of ways. Candles, right off the bat, are wonderful ways to make any environment more sacred and more special. Certainly more romantic, which we love in this conversation about how to make these transitions with our partners. But think about this too, at the other seasonal changes, maybe around Thanksgiving. Create some kind of little ritual time, little reflection time with your partner to prepare for the holiday season. Maybe there's something special, some little sweet ceremony that you can do in the dead of winter to just kind of reconnect, to create a little bit of light within you and between you in the midst of the darkest months. And then in the spring, begin to reflect on what's happening. And when you come to the summer solstice in June, or Memorial Day, maybe that's a more commonly known one, create some kind of celebration of, acknowledging, hey, we made it through this winter. These were the fun things that we did. And how do we want to prepare now that we've hit Memorial Day or the solstice? You take your pick. How do we want to prepare for a beautiful season to come? So just a few ideas for you to think about how you can make this particular seasonal transition from summer to fall a really lovely one, a really powerful one with your partner. And then to use what you're experimenting with in any of the other seasonal transitions that you go through over the course of the year. Please do enjoy it. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks so much and have a beautiful fall.